Despite the drama surrounding the newest Pokemon games, the Pokemon Company hasn't been shy about releasing new trailers for the game and showcasing more of what we can expect this November. Putting the Dexit debate aside for the moment, let's take a look at what will be in the game based on these new videos. We'll start off with the most recent trailer released on August 7th, and despite it only being 2 minutes long, we did get some big reveals from it. The most obvious of them being Galarian forms. Yeah, we mostly expected this after Gen 7 premiered the concept of regional variants, but it's cool that they're continuing this trend. And it does give us some cool new looks for some of our classic favorites. I was a big fan of Alolan variants, so I'm excited to see what the Galar region has to offer in this respect as well. The first of them shown was Galarian Wheezing, which looks sort of like, smokestacks shaped vaguely like top hats, complete with mustaches, beards, and big bushy eyebrows. What could be more British than that? Galarian Wheezing is Poison Fairy instead of just being a straight-up poison type, and has the ability Levitate as well as a second, unknown ability. Next up is Galarian Zigzagoon, and its evolved form Linoon. This marks the first regional variant that isn't from Gen 1, meaning this time around we'll probably see more variety in which Pokemon get these new variants. Anyway, Zigzagoon and Linoon are no longer simply normal types, as the Galarian version swaps it out for Dark Normal. They also look more menacing, and that ties into the new villain team for Sword and Shield, but we'll get to that. The Galarian Zigzagoon and Linoon have the abilities Pickup or Gluttony, so no real big changes there. However, there is one big change, and that's Linoon now evolves. Exclusively to the Galar region, Galarian Linoon can evolve into Obstagoon. Obstagoon keeps the Dark Normal typing, but has the abilities Reckless or Guts. Plus, Obstagoon just looks awesome. Sort of like a Yakuza or a gangster that you know has a heart of gold deep down, but also isn't afraid to beat the heck out of people with a bicycle. I'm naming mine Majima. Anyway, Obstagoon also has a signature move called Obstruct. According to Cerebi, the move taunts the opponent into attacking, and then Obstagoon crosses its arms to meet the oncoming attack with Obstruct. Sadly, that's all we know about it at the moment, but it seems like it may be a counter move. On to some new Pokemon. First up is Morpeko, an electric dark type, which is known as a form-changing Pokemon. This equates to its full belly mode and its hangry mode, which ties into its ability Hunger Switch. When switching from full belly to hangry, Morpeko's signature move Aura Wheel changes from an electric type to a dark type. This is our Pikachu clone of the generation, and it's arguably one of the most original of the bunch. The move type swapping ability makes battles more interesting, and the design is somewhere between Hamtaro and Ebichu. Still, it's no Emolga. Doubling back for a moment, we had some new additions from the July 8th trailer, as well as some that were shown at E3, so let's run those down really quickly. Alcremie is a fairy type with the ability Sweet Veil. It's absolutely adorable, and I love everything about it, and I want a dozen of them. Yamper, the electric type, is based on a corgi because you literally cannot go into a fictional version of the UK and not have a corgi. It has the ability Ball Fetch. The rock type Roly-Coly seems to be a living rock that's based on a motorcycle? Neat. Its abilities are Steam Engine and Heat Proof. Duraludon, who has to be an homage to Mechagodzilla, and no one can convince me otherwise,
Mechagodzilla
is a steel dragon type with the abilities Heavy Metal or Light Metal. The final new Pokemon, who hasn't yet been featured in a trailer, but did get leaked with some screenshots from E3, is Impidimp, which I think looks like the personification of that feeling of being awake at 5 a.m. after having not slept for 48 hours. It's a dark fairy type, and its abilities aren't yet known. Before we launch into new characters, there's one other major change to Pokemon that's coming in Generation 8, Giganta Max. So while Dynamaxing your Pokemon simply makes them harder, better, faster, stronger, Gigantamaxing also changes a Pokemon's entire appearance, as well as adding in a special, type-specific move called a G-Max move. Corviknight, Dreadnought, and Alcremie have all been confirmed to have Gigantamaxed forms. Corviknight gets the flying-type G-Max move Wind Rage, Dreadnought gets the water-type G-Max move Stone Surge, and Alcremie gets the fairy-type G-Max move Finale. Corviknight becomes an even bigger crow, Dreadnought turns into Gamera, and Alcremie becomes the world's largest wedding cake. personal opinion, if Dynamaxing and Giganta Maxing were just the same thing, and every Pokemon had a different design when it gets maxed, I'd prefer it and it would feel like a true successor to Mega Evolution. Regardless, it's nice to see that there's more to the whole maxing of Pokemon than just making them bigger, even if it is only a select few that get the form change. With new Pokemon, evolutions, and forms out of the way, it's time to introduce a few new human characters. First, we have two brand new gym leaders, Bee, the fighting type expert, and Alistair, the ghost type expert. And this next part has gotten a few people upset, but each of these gyms are version specific, which has happened in past generations, but not quite to this extent. Generation 5 handled exclusive gyms first, where in Black and White, for your first gym, you could only challenge Silent, Chili, or Cress based on which starter you chose, and your 8th gym leader would either be Drayden in Black or Iris in White, but both of your 8th gym battles would be Dragon type regardless of version. But for Generation 8, Bee's fighting type gym can only be challenged in Pokemon Sword, while Alistair's ghost type gym can only be challenged in Pokemon Shield, meaning that you'll have different types of gym challenges in each version. We don't know at the moment if there will be more exclusive gyms, but if so, it will be one of the biggest changes for the series. This feels like a move to justify the need for the Pokemon staple of having 2 versions. Since actually filling a regional dex isn't as difficult since online trading became a thing, it's just time consuming. It's okay, it's not a bad concept, and it's something that other games like the Mega Man Battle Network series has done before. This is essentially an each version has exclusive bosses type thing, and it's not a new concept, just sort of new to Pokemon. Alright, with gym leaders out of the way, we have Chairman Rose and his secretary Oleana next. Rose is the chairman of the Galar Region Pokemon League, as well as being a wealthy businessman. Oleana manages the day-to-day work for Rose, as well as acting as his company's vice president. And after what happened with Lucamine in Pokemon Sun and Moon, I don't really trust Chairman Rose or Oleana's attentions. Now, we mentioned Hop, your friend and rival, in a previous video, but why have one rival when you can have 3? Beatty has that classic Gary Oak aura, complete with that douchebaggish smirk. He's being sponsored in his quest to become a Pokemon Master by Chairman Rose, but his actual motivations aren't known. It'll be nice to have a rival you can hate again just because you don't like the smug look on his face. Last up in the rival list is Marnie, yet another trainer on her way to becoming champion of the Galar region. Marnie has a punk aesthetic and seems a bit standoffish, but that hasn't kept her from getting so popular that she has her own group of avid fans following her around. Which leads us to Team Yell, the newest group of baddies featured in the Pokemon franchise. Team Yell is a bit different though. Take 1 part football fan and 1 part idol otaku, and you've got a good idea of what Team Yell is all about. Rather than wanting to take over the world, or get rid of all the water, or something space and time, these Vavusula and body pillow wielding folks simply want to have Marnie become the Pokemon League champion at any cost. This means that they will obstruct her rivals, take over hotel lobbies, cause a ruckus so transportation for other trainers becomes limited, heckle trainers in battle, and more. They also quickly appear whenever Marnie starts a battle to cheer her on. That may seem like it's the end, but avid Pokemon fans know to check both versions of a trailer for different information, and there was a big difference this time around in the Japanese and English trailers. The Japanese trailer featured an entirely new gameplay element called Pokejobs. Pokejobs are sort of like mini-quests. You can go to the Ritomi inside a Pokemon Center to have a look at the job board. The job board features a list of tasks that you can choose to send a Pokemon out to do. Keep in mind, sending out a Pokemon on one of these jobs removes it from the party or box and makes them unavailable until the job is done. Specific Pokemon will be better at specific jobs, so selecting just the right one for each task is important if you want those sweet, sweet rewards. Speaking of rewards, you'll be given money for each task completed, and the Pokemon who you sent out will get some extra experience. So this could be a great way to level up a Pokemon you want to use, but isn't exactly useful to you right now. Plus, it gets you some extra cash, which is always great. This is a nice addition, and while it may make leveling up Pokemon even easier than it already is, it also seems to encourage players to think about using other Pokemon. Whether that's because the best Pokemon to send out on a Pokejob is one of your main party members, or if you've been sending out a Pokemon on so many jobs that it's out-leveled your current team and you could use a little bit extra power for an upcoming gym match. That about does it for everything we learned from the most recent Pokemon Sword and Shield trailers. Are these new additions enough to get you back on the Pokemon hype train? Or does not having the National Dex mean you'll be waiting until the next game to see if they add it back in? We'd love to hear what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching Inside Gaming.
Players control sync pairs, which essentially locks a single trainer to a single Pokemon.
Sacrilege!
I could guess.
Where are all my little furry pals? I can only have one?
Lame.
Sorry, in Pokemon Masters, you're not going to be able to fill the National Pokedex, and the Pokemon selection is actually severely limited, with only 60 sync pairs available, at least right now.